Hello, good afternoon. Michael Wynn, Chief Digital Officer of Digital Ops, a division of RB Oppenheim Associates. Welcome to the Virtual Lunch and Learn video podcast where we talk about digital strategies to help grow your business. Today, we're going to talk about something that I'm absolutely fascinated about, and that is the idea of, are you a 10,000 hour expert? Why 10,000 experiences or experiments matter in growing your personal brand. You know, I think it was 2008 when Malcolm Gladwell released the book called Outliers. And there's been a lot of speculation and controversy around the 10,000 hour rule, which Malcolm talks about establishes you as an expert. And you know, maybe some of the arguments have valid, or they are valid arguments, especially when it comes to, let's say, sports. I mean, the fact of the matter is, you could, you know, practice 20 hours a week for 10 years to get to your, but the mechanics of repeating something over and over and over and over for 10,000 hours doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get any better. I think what's even more important when you really dive into the 10,000 number, when you overlay that number with knowledge from failures, experience, and then reapplying that process, right? So I think it was in, I think Medium coined the phrase 10,000 experiment rule, which I think is interesting with that, because I think it really does sort of set up this idea that you start with a concept, you test it, then you analyze the information, then you adapt and you repeat, you try again. And I think in that process, it is actually a very good measurement, because it implies that there's been a growth, a learning process. For those of you who follow me on social media, you'll know that hashtag growth mindset is one of my number one, you know, tags that is really part of my thought process when I'm thinking about moving forward, getting better, you know, and providing results for myself, for my clients, for my coworkers, for my family. You know, it's not wanting to settle for the status quo. So, you know, when you're thinking about, okay, I'm going to choose someone to be my realtor, do you want someone that, you know, does this part-time, who's, you know, bought or sold 1 or 2 houses this year, or maybe 5 over the last 5? Or do you want someone who has gone through the experience over 10,000 hours of negotiating, settling, real estate cases? Yeah, you absolutely do want someone like that in your corner, because I guarantee you, when you bring in the human factor, things are going to happen. You're going to observe and you're going to analyze, how did that go wrong? What could I have done better? Because if you're going to stay in the game for 10 years, you know, you can't suck. You have to get better. And so I think that when we talk about personal branding, a lot of people really have a hard time wrapping their mind around, what does that really mean? And I think at the end of the day, you know, your experience and your experiments over the last decade and telling that story, that's a unique story that many of us would like to come along. But I feel like one of the things that people avoid is discussing their failures, you know, and that is really one of the you know, essential pieces of growth mindset. Is you actually do need to fail so that you can analyze and figure out, what could I have done better? You know, how could I have improved the outcome, you know, from what the original concept was? You know, if you're a personal trainer, same thing. If you've spent over 10,000 hours helping other people get better, you've thought about, you know, different positions and different heights and different weights of the people that you're working with. and so you had a lot of variables that you had to work out, in your process. Maybe you're an attorney or a dentist or even a commercial banker. No matter what your field is, if you've spent 10,000 hours or have executed and gone through 10,000 experiments, you've gone through a process that's unique to many people. Now, one of the things that I think is interesting about some of the articles that try to debunk the 10,000 hour rule, being an expert, is they talk about, obviously in sports, the concept of, what are your physical attributes and what sports are you playing and things of that nature. But also age, when did you get started? Obviously the formation of the brain as you, reach your late teens, early 20s, the development of, the maturity that you have has a difference. So not to say that someone who starts at age 4 by age 14 can't be, a savant in whatever it is. I mean, you see musicians and you see, athletes and mathematicians and all kinds of people who really are outliers, as Malcolm likes to put it, where they had a natural tendency or a natural leaning in that area. And so I think if we go back to, sort of this idea of, okay, what does it mean to be a 10,000 hour expert in today's world with today's demands? And I think in the context of digital marketing, I started looking and playing with websites and digital communications back in 2006 when I started my first blog, and then took it into my professional world in 2008, where I started building commercial websites for businesses. But over the last, 11 years, I've really had some crazy experiences. I've had some major flops. Things didn't work out the way I thought they would. And I've had some tremendous victories where clients were just over the moon excited about what this digital footprint or digital storefront allowed them and positioned them to help grow their business. So I think a quote that I came across that I really liked that I wanted to share today was this: in a rapidly changing world, success comes from deliberate experimentation and a healthy dose of emotional intelligence. I love that quote. I think it really speaks to the humanity and the 10,000 hour rule. And I think it speaks to, the empathy and the humility behind a 10,000 hour expert. Because when you understand that you're not perfect, but you do know that you have a deep passion to perform at the highest level and never accept the status quo or to take shortcuts, but to really achieve something special, that's a story worth telling. I think it's one of the reasons why I jump on here every day and share with you guys digital strategies to help grow your business, is because I'm passionate about it. And I, day after day, go through all kinds of different things, whether it's setting up, your home page and how it works on a desktop versus a mobile, experience, or, whether it's social media advertising and how the Facebook ad platform works and why underpriced attention is so important to your business and how can you leverage that, all these different factors that, over many experiences and experiments, failures and successes, I've got the story to tell. And that's the same thing for you as well. So if you're in your business and you haven't explored what it means to create your own personal brand and tell your own unique story, I'm going to encourage you today to start. Whether you're a good writer or whether you're just good at speaking audio or if you're good on camera, whatever your outlet is, begin documenting your story now. And then look for ways to be able to produce that and publish that content and put that out there, because you think your friends and family know what you do for a living, but the fact of the matter is, if you don't tell your story, they don't know. Guys, thanks for joining in. I'm Michael Wynn. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.